Welcome guys. So up to this point we have seen different kind of generative AI application as well as AI agents in this. Now in this particular lab we are going to focus on how we can analyze images. Now text analysis is something which we have seen. Now it's the time to see image analysis actually, and what kind of things we can do with that, what kind of features we can use from Azure AI Vision service. That's what we're going to see in this video. Uh, as you can see right now on my screen, I have logged in into my lab environment, and this lab environment is actually giving me a lab subscription as well, which is a cloud side subscription for this particular lab. I'm just going to open my Azure portal as usual, and I'm going to log in with my credentials, which are the lab credentials. And within a second, my subscription is ready. I can create any kind of services inside this. This lab is focusing on image analysis, so let's just get started with the instructions. This is a lab which is focusing on Azure AI Vision Service, as we discussed. And the first step which they're asking me to do is I need to go to portal.azure.com, and we are going to create a resource which is actually a computer vision resource. Remember, this is a separate service which we are going to create right now. So we'll click on Create Resource. I'll search for computer vision. And as you can see in the result, I have a dedicated resource which is called computer vision. I'll select this one. We'll click on create, and we'll choose the default resource group as per the instructions. I need to choose a region which is mentioned in this instruction, which is Southeast Asia. So let me just make sure that I'm choosing Southeast Asia. And the name of the resource is going to be some unique name. Pricing tier, we are going to choose free F0, which is going to give me 5,000 calls per month. And I'm okay with this for the lab scenario. We'll agree with the all the responsible AI notice. So basically, we are going to make sure that we'll follow the responsible AI guidelines. And once all these things are done, I think we just have to wait for the deployment to be completed. So let's just click on Review plus Create. And once validation pass, I'll click on Create. My deployment is completed. I can click on this Go to Resource, and inside the resource group, I'm able to see my one and only one resource, which is my computer vision service. This is now there. Now, in the next step, they're saying that develop an image analysis app with the Azure AI Vision SDK. So basically, we do not have much to do with this particular service. We will use the endpoint of this particular service, and then we are going to associate that with our application, which we are going to create. So let me just quickly open the new tab in the browser. Just for your kind of information, guys, we can develop this kind of an application within the Azure portal Cloud Shell itself. Or if you do not like Cloud Shell kind of editing, you can use Visual Studio Code in your local environment, and you can configure that as well. I'm following instructions of the lab environment, so I'm just going to choose PowerShell. I'll go to the classic version of the PowerShell after this. Let me click on Apply. Yes, my Cloud Shell is loaded. I'll go to the classic version of the Cloud Shell now. And now, once it is loaded, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to clone the official repository. This is a repository of the official samples for this particular course. So when I'm doing this, you can see this is a repository which I'm opening in the separate tab. You can also hit this URL in your browser and you'll get the same thing. And inside this, we have lab files. And inside the lab files, we have a couple of applications. Now, obviously, in this particular sample, we are going to use one of the applications, which is going to be focusing on image analysis. So this is a first sample application inside this. Also, just for your kind of information, guys, these labs which we are recording right now are super latest. You can see all this code changes just happened in the last month. So at the time of this recording of this video, this is almost August 2025, and it's almost end of August actually. And when we are doing this recording and all, as you can see right now, it's just last month updated. We are giving you the very latest stuff, and this is something which is really amazing if you're working on AI specific project and you want to utilize all the services in that. Now, I think I'm back to this particular lab environment. The next thing which I have to do is I have to change my directory. So I'm just going to execute this command, which is cd. I'll go to that particular folder which is having image analysis kind of a folder with that. And now inside this, I have to take care of the dependencies. So let me just open the notepad file first. Whenever we have this kind of a multi-line execution of the commands, I make sure that I copy paste that in the notepad first, and then I'm going to use it. So I'll just put this in the notepad. I'll copy this command, I'll paste it in the Cloud Shell, and I think this will be done very soon. Once it is done, I always execute a command clear, and it's going to clear this. Yeah, now it's clear. And then I'm going to type .env file. Now this is just my endpoint file which I have to configure. So this is an environment file for the project. I'm going to provide my service endpoint and the key, which I can get it from the previous tab. This is my computer vision service endpoint, pasting it here. And this is my key. Any of the key I can copy, either key 1 or key 2, and that's going to be useful to authenticate this request. I'll save this, I'll close this editor, and once this is done, we are actually done up to the environment file configuration. It's the time we have to add a code to suggest a caption. Now there are a couple of features of image analysis which you can do. We can use for image caption generation, we can use for tagging, we can also do a couple of other configurations like object detection and all. We are going to try a couple of configurations with the help of code today. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to this file which is imageanalysis.py. Now if you check the repository, inside analyze images, we have this image analysis folder, and inside that we have image analysis.py. This is that particular folder which we are actually going to manage, and this is a file in which we're going to write a code. Let me just take care of that. So I'm going to type the command code image analysis.py, and just to help us, they have given us a couple of commented sections here where we can actually paste this configuration. Again, I advise you, whenever you're doing this thing, it is advisable, just make sure you're going to use this kind of a notepad file so that you can copy and paste without any indentation issues. I've copied this. I'm going to paste it here in my import namespace section. And this is done. So this is just adding some namespaces, which is basically using my image analysis and image analysis.models, which is actually going to give me all the predefined inbuilt models which are available on this. After this, we have to authenticate our client instance. So we have a code section for this, authenticate Azure AI Vision client. Let me just take care of that as well. As you can check, the code is using the endpoint and then credential key, and using that is actually going to authenticate our request. So we'll just paste this code here. And in order to take care of the indentation, we'll just hit tab. So this is my CV client variable, which is basically the instance of my image analysis client class. How can we use this instance? Well, that's something which is the next step. So let's just get rid of all these things. Now, whichever properties you want to fetch using this image analysis client, you can specify that thing. Like you can see right now, using a visual features property, I'm trying to extract caption, dense caption, tags, objects, and people. And all these things are going to be extracted from the image which I provide, and then it's going to work fine. Let me just take this code, and before I paste this thing in my code, I just want you to see this thing, that exactly above this, we have provided one image actually, which is street.jpg. Now this image is actually available in this particular images folder, and the street.jpg is basically one of the image which is available in that folder. If I click on this, you'll be able to see that this is that particular picture. We are going to use this picture, and then when we use analysis, it's actually going to extract people, different objects, and it's going to generate proper caption for this, it's going to extract tags from this, and that's what we are specifying in this piece of code. So that's exactly here. After this, we are going to provide a configurational section for getting the image captions, tags, object, and the people. So basically, we want to retrieve those information which is coming from this visual feature options. And that's why the 4 piece of snippets which are available exactly after this is basically just going to print all these things. Let me take all the snippets first in the notepad file so that I can put it at the proper places. This one is for get image captions. I'll add all 4 codes in the same section actually, one by one. This is my get image tag section. Then we have a third one which is detecting the objects. It's just printing those things, whichever is coming from the result. So all 4 sections are very similar actually. And finally, after this, we are going to have add code to detect and locate people. So that's a 4th and the final piece which we are going to add on. Now, they are showing these 4 steps one by one in the lab samples, because at the end of each execution, we are actually able to see what is happening inside that. And that's the reason I just pasted this code, but we are going to see this thing step by step. So let me just take care of the first step now, in which we are just taking care of getting image caption. So let me just take it now. I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. And now this is properly indentation is done. And you can see right now it's going to check if the image is having a caption configurations with the confidence associations with that. It's going to show me what kind of a confidence score is also associated with that. Once we add this code, we just want to save this once, and we want to see it is working or not for a particular image. So exactly after this, what we are doing is we are just going to execute this command, which is going to run this code with street.jpg. And when I hit enter, you can see it's analyzing street.jpg. And if it is done, it's actually going to analyze this, and it's going to show me the outcome associated with that, which is going to be printed with the captions. And now if I just increase the height of this, you can see the caption is a man walking a dog on a leash on a street, a man walking on a street, a yellow car on the street. Now you can see these are all the captions which they have generated with the help of this code. And the best caption is a man walking a dog on the leash on a street, which is having the maximum confidence score associated with that. And I think this is a perfect caption for this image. Now, same way, we can add some other images also. So while running this, if I change this, like instead of changing this street.jpg, if I just execute a command, and instead of street, I'm just going to say building.jpg. And if I run this thing, it's going to use the second image, and then using that is going to generate captions associated with that. So let's see that. You can see a large white building with a dome and a large lawn with United States Capitol in the background. So this is something which is the perfect caption for this. So this kind of execution you can do with the image caption. Let's go back to the code now. And now after this, if I add a second piece of code, which is get image tags, this will show me image tags associations with this. Control S. And now I need to run this application again. Now this time, let's say I'm first again running with the street.jpg. It's going to show me captions as well as different tags which are associated with this. You can see captions are there, same. And there are tags as well, which is showing me outdoor, land vehicle, building, road. Now this is all perfect for this particular image. Cool. So this is fine. We can quit this and we can stop the program execution. We can do clear screen. And now we are back with the code. Now let me try the get objects in the image. This is an interesting one, because when we want to get a particular object in that image, we want to identify the object, and that's why we want to highlight that object properly in that existing image. If you check this code right now, it's actually going to take the objects and then it's going to highlight those objects with this. And that's why when I add this code, if I save this time I'm just going to run this again, and it's going to show me the objects which are associated with this. Now you can see we got a captions, we got a tags, and then there are objects in this image, which is car, taxi, person, dog. And this is something which is showing me the objects which are associated with this. Now obviously this is actually showing the result with the proper object detection, so that is also working fine. Now last and the final piece of code which we want for getting the people in the image. So I want to identify the exact person, a people in that particular image. I'll copy this, I'll paste it here, and I'll take care of the indentation as usual. This is as easy like this. Control save, and then the code is saved. This time, while running this particular section, I want to again use this street.jpg. And then if you check the code right now, it's actually going to store this in the separate objects.jpg kind of a configuration. So basically, it's going to find out the people, and then whatever people I find it in that, it's going to find out the detected people in that. And then it's going to associate with that show people kind of a image file. It's going to actually annotate this in the separate image file with this. So that is what which is there in the previous one also. I think it's not showing in this, but there is a separate file which got created with this, which we can just use download objects.jpg. So we can actually put this here and we can execute this first. You can see it's showing me click here to download. And when I open this file, this is the objects one. So it's going to show me the objects only. And you can see the person, taxi, dog, car, this kind of objects are detected. And now after saving this, if I run this again, let me just do clear. And let me run this again with the street.jpg. It's analyzing this. And this time it's just going to show me person, not all the objects. So unlike last one, which was detecting all the objects, including person, this time, if I just execute download.jpg, it's downloading a file. And if I open that file, this is only detecting people because that's what we have changed in this code. So now it's knowing only people. There's one person here and there's another person here. It's able to identify that these three persons are there actually. There's one person maybe here also. It's smartly enough to identify that. So it's a cool code. I think it is interesting. It is really exciting. And that's what we have done in image analysis. Now, there are a couple of other features which we can use here, but we are not doing it right now for this particular lab. This is a straightforward and simple code. Remember, I have repeated this so many times, but I always say this thing, that whenever you're going through the exercises, when you do through the lab, this repositories which I'm sharing with you is very important. I strongly recommend you to try these labs before you go for a certification exam or before you try your own customizations on that. This is one extra logic which is available in this particular sample, which is called show objects. Now you have observed this thing that whenever we are showing object, is highlighting that with some polygon, is actually highlighting this with the rectangle kind of an object there. Now this code is actually preparing that drawing on that particular object so that we can detect that object and we can see that object with this cyan color kind of a configuration with that. And after that, it's just calling the method like show people and show object kind of thing, which is basically showing you the objects or people associated with that. So this is an extra logic which is just drawing on that particular image. We can actually edit the image also like this, and we can save it as a new image. And that's something which is written in this particular code. So that's how it is. It's a straightforward few lines of code which is doing image analysis. And how cool is it? Now, I'm sure you're enjoying our videos, guys. If you still want to get the same kind of videos, then please subscribe to our channel. That's really going to encourage us. And if you feel like this kind of videos are going to be useful for your colleagues as well, don't forget to share it. And do not forget to hit that bell icon so that whenever we launch a new courses or whenever we are going to do a live webinars, you should get notification of that. This is Maruti signing out for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.